Have you ever caught your cat staring at something and there was absolutely nothing there? No sound, no movement, just empty space. And yet, your cat is completely locked in, ears twitching, eyes tracking, body tense like it's watching something real. What if I told you it is real, just not to you, because your cat isn't living in the same sensory world you are? Right now, inside your own home, there are things your cat can see, hear, and feel that your brain will never even register. And here's where most people get it wrong. When you ignore these behaviors, or worse, interrupt them, you might be breaking your cat's sense of safety without even realizing it. But the last one in this video, it's not about what your cat detects out there. It's about what they can sense coming from you. So what is your cat actually reacting to? In this video, we're going to break down 6 things your cat can see, hear, and feel that you can't. And more importantly, what those behaviors really mean and how you should respond if you don't want to confuse, stress, or unintentionally push your cat away. Because once you understand what your cat is really experiencing, those random moments, they stop being random and they start making perfect sense. Let's start with the one that changes everything. What if the room you're sitting in right now doesn't look the same to your cat at all? Not slightly different, completely different. Your walls, your clothes, even the floor beneath you, what looks plain and ordinary to your eyes could be filled with patterns, signals, and details your brain simply cannot process. Because your cat can see something you can't. Ultraviolet light. In 2014, a study published in Proceedings of the Royal Society B confirmed that cats, along with several other mammals, have lenses that allow ultraviolet light to pass through to the retina. Humans, on the other hand, block almost all of it, which means your cat is literally seeing layers of reality that are invisible to you. That plain white shirt you're wearing? To your cat, it may be covered in patterns, biological traces, detergent residues, tiny marks that glow under UV. The plants near your window? They don't just look green, they have UV patterns on their petals, like glowing landing strips guiding insects. And your cat can see every single one. So when your cat sits by the window, staring into what looks like an empty yard, they're not bored. They're watching a version of the world that you were never designed to see. And this changes something important. Because the next time your cat suddenly fixates on a spot, on the wall, the floor, or the air, it's not nothing. It's just something your eyes were never built to notice. What you should do instead, don't interrupt them. Don't wave your hand in front of their face or call their name repeatedly to snap them out of it. To you, it looks like nothing. To them, it's a real, stimulating experience. Instead, give them safe spaces where they can observe, like a window perch or elevated spot. Because for your cat, watching is not passive, it's how they explore their world. Have you ever seen your cat suddenly turn its head, ears locked onto something you can't hear at all? No footsteps, no voice, nothing. And yet, they react instantly. That's not random. That's a level of hearing you simply don't have. Cats can hear frequencies up to 64,000 hertz. Humans? We max out at around 20,000. That means right now in your home, there's an entire layer of sound happening that you're completely unaware of. Your phone charger, your LED lights, your TV on standby, even electrical wiring inside your walls. All of these can produce high-pitched sounds, silent to you, but loud and constant to your cat. A study published in Hearing Research found that cats have one of the widest hearing ranges among domestic animals, evolved specifically to detect the ultrasonic sounds of small prey. So when your cat suddenly gets alert, or restless, or even irritated for no obvious reason, they're not overreacting. They're responding to a sound you don't even know exists. What you should do instead, pay attention to your environment. If your cat avoids a certain area, acts tense near electronics, or suddenly becomes uneasy, try turning things off, unplug devices, change the lighting. Because sometimes what feels like a calm space to you is actually overwhelming for them. And if this is already changing the way you see your cat, make sure you like and subscribe, because the last thing we're about to cover, it's not about what your cat senses around them. It's about what they can sense, inside you. And once you understand that, you'll never look at your cat the same way again. Have you ever noticed your cat acting strange for no reason? Hiding, pacing, becoming restless out of nowhere. And then an hour later, a storm hits? That's not coincidence. Your cat didn't guess. They felt it coming. Cats are incredibly sensitive to subtle changes in atmospheric pressure and even tiny vibrations in the ground. While you're checking the weather app, your cat already knows. And it gets even more fascinating. When it comes to earthquakes, cats don't predict them hours in advance. There's no solid scientific evidence for that. But what they can detect is the very first wave. Earthquakes release what are called P waves, fast, low-intensity vibrations that travel ahead of the stronger shaking you actually feel. Humans usually can't detect them, but your cat can, because their paws are packed with sensitive nerve receptors, basically built-in vibration sensors. So when your cat suddenly jumps up and runs, seconds later the ground starts to shake. They're not psychic. They're just wired to feel what you can't. What you should do instead, don't ignore sudden behavioral shifts. If your cat becomes anxious, hides, or acts unusually alert, respect it. Give them space. Create a safe, quiet place where they can retreat. Because sometimes, your cat isn't being dramatic. They're responding to something real that just hasn't reached you yet. Have you ever walked up to your door and your cat is already there, waiting? Not by chance. Not sometimes. Almost every time. So how do they know? You didn't call. You didn't make a sound loud enough for you to notice. And yet, they're ready. That's because your cat has memorized you in a way most people don't realize. Not just your voice, not just your face, your sound signature, the exact rhythm of your footsteps, the unique vibration of your car engine, the way your keys jingle, even the pattern of how you move when you're tired versus when you're in a hurry. In 2013, a study published in Animal Cognition showed that cats can clearly distinguish their owner's voice from a stranger's, even without visual cues. Now imagine extending that ability to every sound you make. Your cat has built an entire audio profile of you. That's why they don't react the same way to a neighbor or a delivery driver. Those sounds don't match. Yours do every single time. What you should do instead, create consistency. Cats feel safe in patterns. If you come home at similar times, move in familiar ways, keep a predictable routine, your cat doesn't just recognize you. They trust the world around them more. Because in their mind, you are part of that pattern. Have you ever caught your cat tracking something across the room? Eyes locked, body still, head slowly following something invisible. And when you look, there's nothing there. At least, nothing you can see, but your cat can. Because their vision isn't built for detail the way yours is. It's built for movement. Cats have a much higher number of rod cells in their retinas, cells that specialize in detecting motion, especially in low light, which means even the tiniest shift, a floating dust particle, a microscopic insect, a shadow flickering from a curtain. To you, nothing. To your cat, a live, moving target. And here's what makes it even more fascinating. When something gets too close, within about 20 to 30 centimeters, your cat's vision actually becomes blurry. So they switch systems. Their whiskers move forward like a radar. Their sense of smell kicks in. They even have whiskers on the backs of their front legs, called carpal whiskers, to help them sense prey already in their grasp. So when your cat suddenly starts pawing at the air or fixating on a spot you can't see, they're not imagining things. They're doing exactly what they were designed to do. What you should do instead, don't dismiss these moments. Engage them. Use toys that mimic small, unpredictable movement, like feather wands or light objects. Because when your cat hunts, they're not just playing. They're fulfilling a deep, instinctive need. Up until now, everything we've talked about has been external. What your cat sees, what your cat hears, what your cat feels in the world around them. But this next one, this is different because it's not about what your cat detects out there. It's about what they detect from you. And once you understand this, you'll realize something most cat owners never fully grasp. Your cat isn't just observing your behavior, they're experiencing your internal state in real time. What if your cat doesn't just notice what you do, but actually senses what you feel? Not in a magical way, in a real, physical, measurable way. Your cat can hear your heartbeat. They can detect subtle changes in your breathing. And those tiny shifts, they tell your cat more about your emotional state than your words ever could. When you're stressed, your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, your body tension changes, and your cat picks up on all of it. A study published in Animal Cognition found that cats don't just passively exist around humans, they actively respond to their owner's emotional state. Some cats become more affectionate. They come closer. They sit beside you. They press their body against you. Others respond differently. They stay nearby, quiet, observant, but present, because they know something has changed. And here's the part most people don't realize. When you're anxious, your cat doesn't just see it, they feel it, and often they mirror it. That's why when you're calm, your cat seems calm. But when you're tense, they become restless, unsettled, even distant. Not because they don't love you, but because your internal state is affecting their sense of safety. To your cat, you are not just a person, you are an environment, a living signal they are constantly reading. What you should do instead, if you want a calm cat, start with yourself. Slow your breathing, relax your body, lower your voice, because the safest thing in your cat's world is not your home, it's you. So the next time your cat stares into empty space, twitches at a sound you can't hear, or suddenly reacts to something you don't understand, pause. Because it's not nothing. It's just something your senses were never built to detect. Your cat isn't strange. They're just experiencing a richer version of reality, one that overlaps with yours, but goes far beyond it. And maybe they don't need you to understand everything, but they do need you to try, to observe more, to interrupt less, to trust that their world, though invisible to you, is still real. So let me ask you this. The next time your cat looks at something you can't see, will you still call it nothing? Or will you start seeing your cat differently? If this changed the way you understand your cat, make sure you subscribe and tell me in the comments, what's the strangest thing your cat has ever reacted to that you couldn't explain?